Up podcast.
Hell yeah.
I'm Cody.
I'm Sean.
I'm Caleb.
I think our first topic of the night is late night snacks. What's everyone feel on that?
Probably be just like some Doritos or something. I mean, it's just, they're easy as long as you got them.
Sure.
It's easy, it's convenient.
I would say mine is always just something like, I don't know, like pasta or like hamburger helper, just because it's so easy to like microwave.
It's good, yeah. It's
like you wake up in the middle of the night and it's like, god dang, you know. Like if there's tater tot casserole in the fucking fridge, usually the case is there's a lot of it, so it's like.
It definitely depends on what leftovers were there on what I choose from.
Yeah, well, and plus if you're drinking some beer,
sure,
you know.
Oh yeah.
My go-to here lately, anyways, dry cereal.
Okay.
A couple handfuls of Cheerios.
Oh
yeah. That, or I found some little Jello cups.
Yeah.
Sugar-free Jello cups.
So,
yes,
what's your go-to dry cereal? Or just cereal in general while we're at it?
Well, I like to steal from my daughter. So, this go around, we've got chocolate peanut butter Cheerios. And those things fucking smack.
Dude, I could get on that. Now, are those zero sugar?
No. But I can have, like, I don't have tiny hands, but I don't have huge hands. So, I can have, like, 2.5 of my handfuls.
That's
but
decent.
That's still, I mean, that's a healthier snack than eating a whole bowl of hamburger helper right before you go to bed.
And it's a little bit quieter than, like, going back to the Doritos. Because it's like that scene. Yeah. It's like that scene from Big Daddy. He's in there trying to watch the fucking hockey game and... But you're not trying to wake the fucking neighborhood. You just get some of it till they get stale. Then Cheerios, it sounds like you're chomping on fucking glass.
Well, to me, when they get stale, it's like eating a soft cookie. You know, it's like
some of them. Yeah. I used to do that. I'd make my bowl of cereal, and then I'd just set it off to the side, let it soak up all that milk. Go ahead and kill a couple cups of coffee, and then whatever cereal you have usually swells up to the size of like a mini donut.
I always called that cooking it, like cooking the cereal.
Cooking the cereal.
Yeah. Like, I'd always tell my grandma, like, she'd pour a bowl, and it's like I'd come back an hour later, which was too long, and it's like, yeah, it's cooked. You know?
The milk's about half spoiled.
Yeah. It's basically yogurt.
Danielle's been buying watermelon lately, and I love watermelon, but my favorite part is whenever you get all the juice that pools up.
Oh, at the bottom.
So she had a smaller bowl, and then she had a huge bowl of it. And the huge bowl barely had any juice, but the small one had a nice little layer in it. And I finished it up, and I popped open the new one. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just marinating the next batch.
Oh, yeah.
Popped
Same
her back
concept.
in the fridge.
So, salt or no salt on your watermelon?
I don't think I've ever tried salt, honestly.
What is wrong with you? Any kind of melon.
I've never salted it.
I think I'm with him. Like if I'm eating a melon,
it might be worth a try.
I'm there for the sweetness, you know.
The sweet and salty.
Well, I agree there. I mean,
man,
it complements.
It does.
I guess I've just never found it with fruit.
It adds.
It adds.
Honeydew, cantaloupe,
Thank you,
watermelon. Oh man.
Boom shop.
We always grew up doing that. We salt most of our fruit.
Dude, I salt everything. And I'm bad about it.
So that's why you fizz when you get cut.
I don't notice it.
I can't really think of any others that are
Does it change after you've been drinking?
I want to say yes, but at the same time, it also depends on what's in the house. Like,
I'll give you that.
It's such a hard thing to go off of. But like, I don't know. If I went all day and I've just like had like some little sweet stuff or some fruit or something, I crave meat.
Well, I could see that.
Like
Yeah.
I need like a Slim Jim or
Beef jerky,
yeah, lunch meat, just something.
pot roast, just make
Yeah.
a pot roast.
A tube of sausage that's uncut, just, break it off like a Kit Kat.
Sean's waking up everyone that he lives with to fry up some bacon.
Well, the other day I did that pot roast, and my brothers woke up and they were like, dude, they were like the dogs woke up because it smelled so fucking good. And I'm like, well, guys, I'm like, it did taste great. Sorry, I don't have enough. I ended up eating it in like a day, the entire pot roast.
Yeah, I've weighed all this out and I know how much I have, so I know if any of you greedy bastards
But
got into it.
I told them next time I will buy more. That way we can have a big meal together.
A 10-pound roast just ain't enough for 3 guys.
Yeah, 3 grown boys.
Have you big old feast.
I love roast beef.
Yeah.
Love it.
Biggest pet peeves.
A lot of pet peeves that I have falls in driving, which I don't know if you'd like.
Oh God.
Would that really be a pet peeve? Like it's
Yeah.
It's definitely road rage, but like I don't know if you would.
Well, you don't have to rage over it.
Right.
I definitely think it's a pet peeve.
If I'm driving through town and somebody just hangs a Larry out of nowhere, no signal, yeah, I'm gonna get a little pissy.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I hate is when people, you're coming along. The speed limit's 40. You may be going 45, 50, 60, 70. However you do it.
And a 30.
Yeah.
And a 30. But it's when they pull out in front of you and they're going slow, and you have to then drop your speed to match theirs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drives
and
me.
they drive 50 and a 55.
Yeah. I mean,
My favorite, whenever you're running, say 65, and you catch up to somebody that's running 50, and the speed limit's at least 55, if not 60. So then they slow you down, and you get to town, and when it hits 40 mile an hour or 30 mile an hour even, they leave you.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? Makes no sense.
At that point, though, like if I'm coming up on somebody that's a mile down the road, like where we live, Route 1, for example.
Sure.
To me, it's like, okay, now it's up to me to pass them, so I don't get too upset. But
Fair enough.
dude, when you're driving and you have 5 people behind you, you're the issue.
Mm-hmm. I seen this
Like,
meme the
have a
other
little
day.
bit of awareness.
Yeah.
When you're leading the pack and you're dragging everybody down,
Yeah.
Like if you're running 85 and you've still got 6 people behind you, go ahead and pull into the passing lane and let them all go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So Sean, what's the big pet peeve for you?
Honestly, I don't know yet. Like I've got so many that
That's almost where I
it's
fall.
hard
Like
to-
the first thing that just comes to me is
the driving
my
thing
road
is
rage
huge.
thing.
It's huge.
You got.
Like I said, I feel like you guys know, or at least have an idea in mind. Eating
I
with your
knew
mouth
it.
open.
As soon as
Yeah.
you said it, I'm like, I thought of the person that really gets your
I was gonna
ears
say I
going.
could say names, but I won't. But I know exactly who you're talking about, and we all
That,
share the
I
same
would
thought.
definitely agree with that one. And sometimes I'm bad about it, but at the same time, I'm not eating 3 bites of a sandwich and then talking. When I say 3 bites, I don't mean a bite, swallow, bite, swallow, bite, swallow. I mean 1, 2, 3. Blah, blah, blah.
Then you try to have a full-on conversation.
Yes.
I at least try to cover my mouth.
Yeah,
Sure. There's ways to at least
like-
dress it up a little bit, and that's
Dress
fine. But the way I was raised
Yeah.
was my dad had absolutely zero tolerance for that. So you could cover your mouth and say something, and you'd be picking yourself up off the floor.
Oh yeah.
And
And
now-
knowing your dad, I could see that.
Right. So
Yeah.
now, being at work, and you see some people do this,
Oh yeah.
it takes so much self-control to not reach across the table and smack them.
Well, it's like, who's the father that fathered you? You know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. I'll give you that. That has always been a big one for me. You could be at 10, dinner table, you start chewing and eating like a fucking Neanderthal. I'm out. Can't get past it.
Every time I think of somebody smacking their lips, I think of the girl that Sean was talking about, and you, as soon as you brought her up, you're like, yeah, but she eats like a horse.
And you know, it's funny because I crush on this girl very hard, and you know, every time I talk about her, it's like, whoa, you know, and then here he is just immediately, but it's the truth. I mean, that's things that you notice, and I haven't got to see it yet, so I don't know.
You will.
But eventually.
I haven't
And for
either.
you, I'll point it out. I mean, I will make sure you don't miss this absolute train wreck.
What's
while
going
it's
on?
happening.
It looks like she's mixing a salad in her mouth when she eats. Tossing it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Toss a little salad in there. She's munching up her bird.
I still can't, like, there's so many, but you guys hit the two
Oh yeah.
same ones that are like, the big thing is just manners in general. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
That's
we live
That's
in a
something I
time
put
where
on
it's like
there.
we're not, you know, I don't know how to word it, but, you know,
a lot
we're
of
not.
people think it's okay and it's normalized now to where they can do whatever they want and you can't say anything,
Yep.
Yeah.
no matter how you were brought up.
But it's such an like, there's so many people that share the same, you know, mannerisms that, how did that person not catch on? You know?
Sure.
And I think we're all guilty of it
Yeah.
in certain aspects.
And a
but-
lot of times you don't realize it either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, to me, it's like sometimes maybe mentioning, you know, as
Yeah,
harsh
you
as it
gotta-
may be, maybe mentioning it a little bit is better off for everybody.
Yeah, that's
You know, take the loss.
Sure.
So I made another topic, and it was about common courtesy. And that totally ties into that, because the reason I thought of this, Danielle and I went to Terre Haute yesterday, and we went to Sam's Club. And not so much in the store, but it made me think about whenever you just go to Walmart, and people just don't even care that there's any, they think they're the only person in this store, and they just walk right out of the aisle, looking the other direction that they're going, almost hit you multiple times. Either that or they leave their cart on this side, and then they walk over to the other side, and they're just...
Yes, whereas
in their
I
own
have my
world.
turn signals on, you know, like
Yeah.
a decent human being.
Yeah. And then what really made me think of this was when we were leaving, we were walking out, and there was a car that pulled up to turn. There was a car backing out of the handicap spot. Well, they finally locked eyes with each other and stopped. And meanwhile, while this is going on, whether this car was driving or not, people are just walking around the car that's trying to back up. And I told her, I'm like, that is just ridiculous. We stopped, and we're standing there, and people are going around us like we're the idiots, you know, trying to not get hit by a vehicle. And this car finally pulls out, and people just start walking through that spot as this car's trying to pull in. So they pull up and stop, and people are just still going around the car that's driving. I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with people?
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, they're all in a hurry,
yeah,
you know.
so we're standing there waiting for this car to stop, and this lady and this older man, they just swarmed us right around us, like, you know, zipping around us, acting like they owned the place. And they were together, but apparently they had separate carts. And they go to a car and they stop, and they start loading their stuff up. And Danielle and I got to talking about how older people nowadays seem to think that they deserve the respect, and
Yeah, that
they
was.
think they're better. Yeah.
They got seniority.
And like,
Yeah.
it's nothing against anybody that's older or from a different generation than us, but it's just because you're, I'm not gonna name an age, but that shouldn't matter.
No.
You see that a lot whenever I'm shopping. That's the most I see it.
The big, I wasn't able to think of something. The biggest thing I hate, I don't hate, it's not something that it brings down my day or anything.
It really
But
grinds your gears.
when you come in on a Monday, whatever your Monday falls on, you may be a guy that your Monday ends up being Thursday or whatever. Mm-hmm. But people that come into work and say, God damn it, it's Monday, and they just drag everybody's attitude down with them. And it's like they act like nobody else has to start their week. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes coming to work. The rare people do.
Yeah.
But nobody likes it. It's what you make it.
Yeah.
And
you know what? 90% of people don't just wake up and just kick the blankets off and...
Yeah. Happened the last day. I mean, it's just being human.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing is when I see somebody that, you find out something tragic happened where, they may have had a family member pass away the evening before, but they still show up at work.
Right.
Glad to be there, positive, and which is extremely hard. I mean,
it is.
That I would say that's a big pet peeve of mine.
Just
negativity.
Unnecessary negativity.
Yes.
Bingo.
And I think it drags the entire room down. And we're all guilty of it. But
Oh yeah, we've all been there to some.
I think the importance is like we as humans all have something. We will forever have something. Like we can't be perfect.
Sure.
But yeah, just being able to have a podcast or bring attention to certain topics that aren't. We as humans there's so many factors, and we can't be perfect.
Sure.
But,
Right.
it's the people that can be calm in nature when they tell you something, or hey, when you wear this outfit,
Yeah.
you look like a clown. Maybe not say it like that, but
Yeah, not flattering.
You got to be careful doing that.
Yeah.
Saying it's not flattering
Yeah.
because
That's true.
then you'll walk around with a fat lip and a black eye.
There's just so many things that can cause such a negative thing.
Oh yeah.
I think that's important, like building your reputation around people to realize, like when they hear you say something bad, it's like, oh, he wouldn't say that, or he meant something different,
That's a good segue into our next topic: some classic movies.
Oh man, there's only one movie that popped in my mind that
Con Air. Did I say it?
Yeah,
I knew it.
that's it.
You said that's your
If
go-to.
I'm going on a date with a girl, it's always Con Air.
I knew it.
There's some romance in there. There's some action. There's some criminals. I mean, it's just one of the best things.
I love the movie. Fantastic. I've watched it a dozen times. If I had to pick something to nitpick about, Nicolas Cage's accent.
Yeah.
It is the worst Southern accent I've ever heard.
I'm
And
gonna
it
have
wouldn't
to
be that
pop
bad.
a bubble on both of y'all, but I've never watched it.
Oh my gosh.
I tried to start it the other day, and I at the first few minutes, I'm like, I want to watch something different.
Well, it's got an older feel.
Right.
Dude, it's such a, like...
It is. It's a damn good movie.
It is a really... I don't know what my attraction is to it. I mean, I'm ready to get a tattoo.
When you do try to watch it again next time, you have to at least make it to the part when they're in the belly of the plane
Yes.
and
He knows.
you hear the terrible accent from Nicolas Cage. Put the bunny in the box. I never would have noticed it that bad until one of my buddies pointed it out. Because he highly recommended the movie. We like a lot of the same stuff. And he's like, well, it's fantastic. Don't judge the movie by his accent. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
And then I hear it, it's like, oh God, no.
there's so much truth to it. Yeah. You're going to have... if you watch that, if you stay through it. It's like Breaking Bad. You got to get past that first season. But if you watch it and finish it, I'll rewatch Cat in the Hat.
You just need to rewatch Cat in the Hat. Breaking Bad. All right. Breaking Bad, maybe not so much, but Trailer Park Boys. Everybody says, you gotta watch into at least the first season. If I have to watch a whole fucking season to be committed, I'm not committed.
I agree.
If it's an episode or an episode and a half, I'll work through it. That's like Ozark. Have you ever seen Ozark?
That show depressed the fuck out of me, so I had to quit watching it.
Well,
just the tones and the color. Look, dude,
it was kind of a gloomy.
Yeah, which beautiful for the videographer.
Right.
You know.
But it was one of those that the first into the second episode, the third episode is literally like, that's where it's like, oh shit. But I can't make it a whole season.
No.
Like, that's really, you gotta be like, oh my god,
well,
I've
you
got
the entire nation.
I know,
that's
where I was at, because people were like, oh, it's so good, you have to watch it. And then I watched the first episode. I've watched the first episode 5 times. And I just cannot get through it.
No, it was slow as hell. But dude, once you get in the meat of it, it's like, I can't even think of an analogy to, like,
I'm with Caleb on this one. If I've got to watch a whole season of something before I get into it, I'm out.
It's like eating a fish raw. It's like eating a fish raw. Get past the scales, get past all that shit, and on the inside you got the good meat. You know.
Yeah, but why would I eat a fish with scales when I can make pot roast?
You're right.
What's classic? I mean, even if it's not like your favorite classic movie, but just rattle off a handful of just bangers that you think of that come to mind.
Blazing Saddles. I know you haven't seen it.
It's been a long time.
But Spaceballs.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
The most I've seen of it was the clips that you showed me, which they were hilarious. But I just haven't.
Whenever, I'll bring it into you to watch sometime. The scene when they're combing the desert.
That was the scene you showed me. That one, and I feel like there was one other one.
When they jammed the radar.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And, I mean, I like it mostly because I'm a Star Wars fan. I enjoy all of them. And just seeing that spoof is fucking gold. Mel Brooks is a god. He's fantastic.
And it's one of those, like, it's well known too, and I don't know why I haven't, even with Blazing Saddles, like, I've seen it when I was younger, but, God, there's so much stuff out now that it's so hard to go back to some of those classics.
Do you like the newer comedies more, or you like...
I'm definitely going to say older. I mean, that's when it was fresh. You know, we didn't have to have it so sexualized now. Like how we have it now.
Mm-hmm. And it's not... The old stuff is definitely not as censored as what all this newer stuff is.
I agree.
I mean...
Do you like sequels to a movie or no?
Depends.
I would agree to that.
Because I'm also a big horror movie fan. And when you're talking like...
Horror movies, that's one of those that, like... I can't say every one of them, but most of them, they keep you on the edge the whole time.
That's like, you know,
newer ones, yes. But if you're talking older horror, like especially older slasher,
older slasher, Halloween,
you
know, Friday the 13th.
At some point, they progressively get worse. Like they should have quit after the second, sometimes the third one. Halloween, in that instance. Season of the Witch is probably the worst movie I've ever fucking watched.
Really? I was a fan only of it because I'm such a Carpenter fan.
Sure.
You know, he makes.
But whenever you say it's a sequel and it has nothing to do with what's going on,
which I believe, and I could be wrong, his original plan with that, I wouldn't even call it series, whatever he was doing, he wanted to do 1 or 2 movies for each, like, and then like one, like 2 Halloweens, and then with Michael Myers, and then do 2 with like Season of the Witch. Obviously, he had success with the first one, but I mean, yeah, you're right. Like sequels, especially with classic slasher films. You know, the one where they sent Jason to the moon. You know, like, all right, get the hell out of here.
Like, one of my sequels that it was one of those that I had to watch it. Well, there's 2 of them I can think of right now that you had to watch it, but it was almost,
you weren't happy about it.
Yeah, it was Dumb and Dumber and Super Troopers. I heard a lot of good about both, but Super Troopers, I'd almost have to watch it again just to remember. But Dumb and Dumber 2, the thing that bothered me the most about that was how unnatural it was.
Sure.
The first one was so natural. Just the dumb shit that they did constantly, the shit that they talked about. But the second one it was just like they were, you know, like, okay, well, everybody loved this, so we need to really hit on this key point. And then on this one as well, like, that's what really drug me down.
You could really tell that, especially even on like Super Troopers 2, it was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Oh,
you could tell going into that movie that they had such great success with the predecessor that, oh hell, let's try to make another buck.
Yeah.
And it was a flop when they should have just left it alone.
Well, and I don't know if it's just me, but like the change in quality of the video from the original kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the HD, like, I appreciate HD more than anything, but having that old classic, like, throwing the VCR quality.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, where I think they did a sequel right is when they came out with Top Gun Maverick.
Haven't seen it.
I watched it. Never watched any of the old ones. I can't say even really watched. We watched a majority of it, and it's not that I'm against it, I just wasn't as hooked, but I didn't know the whole background too, so, which not saying after watching it, it's not like you needed to know it, but it would get you advanced in where the new one is at.
Like, the detail in Top Gun Maverick was just insane. They used the same intro, they even used the same font on like all the intro credits, everything. I mean, it was just a very, very good sequel. You could watch it, and going to like your point as far as the quality, it was like it was filmed even in the older quality.
And that's what I like.
For most of it. I mean,
I
you
would
get into
agree
the
with
more
that.
advanced,
it definitely did seem pretty
when you
similar.
get to the scenes where they're like in the newer age jets and everything like that, I mean, they had to kind of up the ante there.
For sure.
I mean,
well, nowadays, you know, no new, you know, movie producer or, you know, the director, like, nobody has those same old, you know, they don't have that same old equipment, so maybe there's some difference there. But,
well,
I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Something else to keep in mind is a lot of that, they're trying to target the newer audience, not the older audience.
For sure. I agree. And then with that, they add in some different humor styles.
Right.
To wrap that up, though, I think, you know, I just, in the end, I appreciate the people that are willing to fund some of these movies that they add in, because it's like, without them, you know, we wouldn't even have the good ones. You know, you may have 10 bad, you know, movie makes, and then you may have the one good one. You know, Rob Zombie's Halloween, to me, were artsy in themselves, but not the greatest. Now, the newest trilogy that just came out for Halloween, the slasher, was awesome. I thought.
I disagree.
Really?
I like the Rob Zombie ones better than the new ones.
See, I like Rob Zombie's because he was very vulgar, showed a very, like, rough, hate saying it, but like trailer parky and style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's how those
like
originals were.
Yeah.
They were all rough cut. I mean, the families didn't come from it was a nicer neighborhood, not super nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like Rob Zombie captured that a lot better than these remakes. I thought they were more comedies than anything.
I will agree with you there. It was just nice. Yeah. Again, I just thank God that there's people that love these movies so much that they're willing to pour, all this money into.
I mean, technically, those three were pretty decent hits.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, can't knock a guy for trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mixing drinks, heavy or light.
Do you mix drinks very much?
No.
Well, I know lately you've been...
Taking a break.
Yeah.
But-
Sean took a little bit of a break. Nothing wrong with that. For anybody who wants to be sober or is sober, congratulations.
Caleb and I don't really choose to do that.
I've tried many a times and felt that I should continue it, and it's just one of those that...
You'd rather think about it over a drink.
Bingo! Yeah. It's hard to do. If
Well,
you're not
even when
drinking,
I
you know,
was,
but-
like, it just wasn't a mixing drink.
Right.
But I definitely think it's a hot topic because, God, there's so many out there.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's weird is, like, I'll mix, I pour heavy drinks, typically. And whenever I do, and I mix it with some, you can taste the alcohol the entire way through it, and it's like, God, that is rough.
Get that burn
And
in
you
your
get
stomach.
through it, and you get a little buzz. But then what's weird is whenever you mix it to where you can't even hardly taste it, you almost feel like you get the same amount of buzz. Do you feel the same way? I mean, I'm sure you've had mixed drinks.
Oh,
I don't
sure.
know how often you have mixed drinks, but yeah, just in general, that's, to me, it's weird how that works. You know, I could pour it. I can't give you an estimate on actual ounces just because I pour by flow.
Right.
What appears, what it looks like in the glass. But
There's times that you measure it out. It's like, that's a good drink. And then there's other times it takes about 3 cans of Coke to
that's
cut it.
yeah,
It tastes good.
you
It's
gotta
a
knock
little
her
spicy.
down in quite a ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely.
But it depends on what I'm drinking. I love whiskey. I like to cut it with water. You get all the flavors out of whiskeys and bourbons
I'll have
and
to try it
everything.
sometime. But
Delicious. Had another buddy turn
I've
me
never
on to that.
cut anything with water. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Really?
just knocks the edge off.
Yeah. It takes all the burn out and you actually get...
If there's
All
one
the
thing I
flavors
miss
out
about, liquors or, whiskeys, it was the burn I felt. Like when it
Like
hits
that
your
burn?
gut, God.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not a fan
warm
of that.
feeling.
Really?
Like, I don't like taking shots of just straight liquor. But yeah, one of my favorites to go to is Buffalo Trace. You put about 4 shots.
That's warm.
Yeah. Put about 4 to 6 shots in a pint glass, and then you fill the rest of the way up with water. You just get all the flavor out of the bourbon with no burn. And it's delicious.
The only time I ever mixed water with liquor was, stealing out of your parents' cabinet
To fill it back up.
Yeah. It's like you're pouring, you take 3 pints out of your parents' vodka handle, and it's like, I'm gonna fill it with water, but they ain't gonna notice.
Right.
It's funny, I never did that, but I remember we were going to move, and there was a bottle that was in the freezer just all the time. Don't know how long it had been there, but I never knew what it was. I was young enough at the time, I had no idea. But I remember one of my parents, somebody pulled it out, and it was frozen. And they kind of looked at me, and they're like, well, that's interesting. And of course, I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
You don't know
But
any
then
better.
instantly, they're like, we need to, not necessarily say, like, we need to talk to your brother, but like, Tyler's been doing something.
There's been a lot more talkative
Yeah.
lately.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler.
But it is funny thinking back on that now, because it's like, whenever you were younger doing something like that, it's like, it's clear. Like,
They ain't
yeah,
gonna
you
know.
don't even think
Fuck
about
that.
it.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and they've got a solid bottle of vodka. It's like, Yeah, that would never happen. You know,
Yep.
if it was Malibu or something like that and you put water in it, that's understandable.
Well, for me, it was,
It freezes
with
up.
my mom, sticking a deck of cards in the carton of cigarettes and taking it back. She ain't gonna fucking know. Ain't no way
Yeah,
she's
because she
gonna
pulls out an ace of spades and she's like,
Well, I don't look like a Marlboro or a Virginia Slim. What the hell?
Oh, I must have got mixed up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
So you're more of a Queen of Hearts gal. I'll keep that in mind.
I see where your cards are played. Oh, yeah.
See, I never had to refill any liquor bottles because my parents don't drink liquor. But Mom on occasion will drink tequila, and I don't.
Tequila's horrible.
I don't touch
My
tequila
opinion.
because I do
Opinions
real dumb
only
stuff
on
on
this
tequila.
channel.
Is tequila the one with the worm in it?
Some of them.
Okay. I always wanted to just eat the worm, just to say I did it. Fuck the tequila. I'll pour it out. Just get the worm.
Talking like the sour worm, like the squid sour worm.
Well, it was like from my understanding, it was.
Is there a worm floating around in it?
Yeah,
In the
on
bottle?
some of those
What?
that you buy, it has like a little grub.
Yeah,
in the
and
bottom
it
of
soaks up like all the alcohol, and like people that finish a bottle.
No bueno. I've never seen it. I've never even heard of that.
People that finish a bottle, they're fucked up because like people say, oh, they ate the worm,
Mm-hmm. That's where that
Never
comes from.
heard that, but that's
Yeah, that's where all that
Yeah.
comes from.
yeah. I never fucking not a clue.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a little fun
You-
fact for you.
You might be the only person that learned something on this podcast, but we've touched somebody tonight.
Just a little slap and tickle, you know.
A little floppy pickle.